Picture this. You're wrapped in blankets, burning with fever, barely able to stand. Suddenly your doorbell starts pounding like someone wants to break it down. You open the door and your entire family storms in. Your dad blocks the exit, your mom glares at you like you're a stranger, and your little sister is sobbing uncontrollably. Dad looks you straight in the eyes and says, "We know it was you. You stole the $30,000 from Caroline's wedding fund. They've already convicted you. No questions. No proof. Just Caroline's tears. But what they don't know is that I've been quietly building a case against the real thief for 3 full weeks. Stay with me until the very end. This betrayal is about to explode in the most satisfying way possible." If you're new here and you love these raw, emotional revenge stories where justice finally wins, hit subscribe right now and turn on notifications. Drop a comment below. Which country or city are you watching from today? I read them all. It started on day 3 of the worst flu I'd ever had. My body felt like it had been hit by a truck. Aching joints, pounding headache, raw throat. I was buried under 3 layers of blankets when the angry doorbell started. Not a normal ring. Sharp, insistent jabs that matched the throbbing in my temples. I dragged myself to the peephole. My heart dropped. There stood Dad, Frederick, Alina, and Caroline, face buried in her hands, shoulders shaking with dramatic sobs. I opened the door, voice barely a whisper. "What's wrong? Is everyone okay?" They didn't answer. They just pushed inside like they owned the place. Dad's jaw was locked in fury. Mom immediately started scanning my living room like stolen cash might be hidden behind the couch. Caroline kept up her performance, tears streaming. "Don't play dumb, Alice," Dad snapped, his voice booming. "The $30,000 is gone. Completely vanished from the wedding account." Caroline wailed louder. "Stephen and I have to cancel the venue, the caterers, everything. How could you do this to your own sister?" I clutched my robe tighter, confused and dizzy. "What are you even talking about? I've been in bed sick. I haven't touched my laptop, let alone any bank account." Mom stepped closer, eyes sharp and accusing. "Caroline told us you're the only other person who knew the password to the joint account. She said you've always been jealous. Jealous that she's getting married to a wonderful man, while you're just focused on your career." The word jealous hit like ice water. Me? Jealous? I was the one who'd spent months helping Caroline plan every detail, creating budgets, comparing venues, listening to her endless complaints about flowers and dresses. I was her maid of honor. I'd covered for her since high school. Bad grades, car accidents, bad relationships. And this was my reward? Dad moved to block the door completely. "Return every cent, Alice. Or we call the police right now. We're ashamed of what you've become." The room spun, not just the fever. My own family was ready to destroy my life based on nothing but Caroline's word. No evidence. No discussion. Just instant betrayal. But in that moment the sickness faded. Cold clarity replaced it. They'd forgotten one crucial thing. My job. I'm a forensic accountant. My entire career is tracking money that people try to make disappear. And right now they had just given me the perfect stage to do exactly that. I raised one hand slowly. "Okay," I said, voice suddenly calm and steady. "You want to know exactly where the money went? I'll show you." I walked to my desk, hands no longer shaking, picked up my phone and opened the banking app. I navigated straight to the secure folder where I'd saved every screenshot, every transaction log, every red flag I'd collected over the past 3 weeks. They watched, arms crossed, smug. They expected tears or a confession. Instead, I started at the beginning. It began with something small. While helping Caroline budget, I noticed a $1,500 charge at a luxury boutique. She brushed it off as a gift from a friend. But accountants notice things. So I kept watching. I looked right at Caroline. "How's Stephen holding up, by the way? All those extra tutoring hours he worked to save his half of the $30,000. He must be heartbroken." Real fear flashed in her eyes for the first time. I turned the screen toward my parents. "You told them the transfers were untraceable, Caroline? Complex moves only an accountant could hide." She nodded too quickly. "Yes. The bank said exactly that." I gave a thin smile. Funny. The trail was actually very simple. Remember when I set up the joint financial dashboard app for you and Steven? So I could help track spending? You never revoked my access. Every linked transfer, every purchase, it's all still there. First swipe. $2,500 moved from wedding fund to your personal savings. 2 hours later, the exact amount spent on a designer handbag website. Mom, didn't you tell everyone how much you loved her new, surprise, purse? Mom's hand covered her mouth. Dad leaned closer, confused. Another swipe. $1,800 to a luxury spa retreat. Caroline stammered. I must have used the wrong account. A mistake. Swipe. $4,000 on Coachella tickets. For you and your friends. The same weekend Steven stayed home grading papers alone. Silence fell. Heavy. I kept going, methodical and calm. Luxury car upgrade, not the sensible one Steven wanted. Girls' weekend at a vineyard. Designer shoes. High-end espresso machine. And then the bombshell. Repeated transfers to an offshore sports betting site. Thousands lost week after week after week. It wasn't just Steven's $30,000, I said quietly. You burned through Mom and Dad's $15,000 wedding gift. Steven's parents' $5,000. Over $50,000 total. Every penny on yourself. You were running out of excuses and the florist deposit was never paid. So you needed a scapegoat. You picked me. Dad looked physically ill. Caroline, is any of this true? She lunged for my phone. She's faking it. Photoshop. She's always hated that I'm happy. I stepped back easily. These are live bank statements from the accounts you gave me access to. You forgot I get instant alerts for large transfers. That's how the whole thing started. Right then my phone buzzed. Text from Steven, at the florist. Deposit never paid. Caroline not answering. Everything okay? I read it aloud. Caroline panicked. Don't reply. Please Alice, he'll leave me. You'll destroy everything. I typed back calmly, come to my apartment now. It's important. About Caroline. 10 minutes later the doorbell rang, polite this time. Steven stood there worried. Alice, you look terrible. What's going on? I let him in. He froze seeing everyone. Dad tried to speak, voice cracking. I didn't wait. I handed Steven my phone with the full itemized proof open. He scrolled slowly. Handbag. Spa. Festival tickets. Gambling losses. His face drained of color with every swipe. Coachella, he whispered. You told me your friends surprised you. Caroline tried. Baby, I can explain. But Steven's voice rose. Something new and raw. Explain what? That I worked 70-hour weeks, sold my own car for our honeymoon, while you gambled away everything we saved. You were going to walk down the aisle knowing you'd stolen from me, from my parents, from everyone. He reached for her hand. Slid off the engagement ring, his grandmother's heirloom. Put it in his pocket. We're done. He looked at me. Thank you, Alice. I'm sorry they did this to you. Then he walked out. Door closed softly. Caroline exploded. You ruined my life. She lunged at me, claws out. Dad grabbed her from behind, holding tight. Mom started sobbing. Our family, it's shattered. I sat on the couch, fever roaring back. It's been broken for years. You just refused to see it. You always protected her lies, and you were ready to sacrifice me to keep the perfect picture. Dad looked at Caroline without the old blind love. No more excuses. Choose now. I opened my laptop. Showed 2 things. List of inpatient gambling addiction centers. And the complete evidence file, ready for police or lawyers. Option A. Admit everything to Steven and his family. Sign a legal repayment plan. Check into treatment today. No delays. Or option B. I send this entire file to Steven, his parents, and the district attorney. They decide what happens next. Caroline looked around. No escape left. No one to fix it. Okay, she whispered, tears real now. Option A. Please don't send it. Dad nodded once. Get your things. We're leaving for the treatment center right now. He drove her to a 90-day inpatient program 3 states away that same afternoon. Days later, my parents sold stocks to repay Stephen and his family the full $35,000 immediately. I met Stephen for coffee a week after. He looked tired but resolved. She's really getting help? Yes. And the money's already back in your accounts. If you want to press charges, the file is yours. He pushed it away. No. Money back is enough. I just want to move forward. My parents visited later. Stood in the same foyer looking smaller. Alice, Dad said, eyes down. We failed you completely. No excuses. We were blind to Caroline's problems and willing to hurt you to protect the fantasy. Mom cried quietly. We're starting family therapy. We want to earn your trust back, if you'll let us. It wasn't instant forgiveness. But it was honest. Caroline finished 90 days. Moved to sober living. Got a coffee shop job.